Hey everyone, and welcome back to the FlixList. This week is a big one. In honor of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I am counting down the best 3 Quentin Tarantino movies. Hi everybody, and welcome back to the FlixList. This is our weekly segment where I go through and I count down my opinions in certain movies. We usually try to time it with something important, and you know what's important this weekend? That's right. We got a new Tarantino movie, and I am pumped. I know you probably are too because you're watching this and you care about movies. If you care about movies, you got to care about Tarantino. And with that, we're going to have some opinions today. Opinions that are probably going to make some people mad. But that's what I do best. But you know what? I own it. I stick to my guns. I'm here. So we are going through the top 3 Quentin Tarantino movies. All right. So we're going to start at number 3. Number 3 is definitely Inglourious Basterds. I love this movie. I think it is outstanding. Personally, it's my favorite of his, but it's not his best. It just comes up a little bit short in certain categories that the next two really exceed. Inglourious Basterds is wonderful, and one of the reasons it becomes my personal favorite is the opening scene. It is basically one of the best one-act plays I've ever seen written. It is intense, it's tumultuous, it's incredible characters. The cinematography in it is wonderful, so good. And the rest of the movie is just as good. A little long, but that's Tarantino. He does what it is. This movie is filled with incredible performances. Christoph Waltz won an Oscar for this and deserved every accolade he got. Brad Pitt, his first movie with Tarantino, and Lieutenant Aldo Rain, outstanding. Really good. Eli Roth even pops up in this movie and is not annoying and terrible. I love this movie. I love the idea of rewriting history. It's very bold. It goes way out there. The theater scene is climactic. It comes out of nowhere. It's a wonderful WTF moment. It's outstanding. Inglourious Basterds is so good. And at the end of the movie, he says, "This might be my masterpiece." But from what I hear from certain reviews of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he might have got ahead of himself there. So number 3, Inglourious Basterds. Number 2, we're going Pulp Fiction. Yes, Pulp Fiction is basically the 90s statement from Tarantino. Reservoir Dogs was his first movie, a Sundance special, but Pulp Fiction is kind of what put him on the map. He got some big time actors, with some actors making statements that we did not ever know they could do. I see a John Travolta acting hard and being actually somewhat admirable and redeemable. What? Samuel L. Jackson, outstanding. That's a tragedy he did not win an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. Leonard Nimoy, I'll never forgive you. Bruce Willis is so good in here. My favorite story about this movie is I saw this movie when I was probably 8 years old. That was great parenting, but I love my mom and I turned out okay. But she paused the movie and made me leave and not watch the Gimp scene. So at least that. But man, I wanted to know what happened in that scene. And then when I finally got the chance to see it, I was like, oh, this is why. This is why. Pulp Fiction is masterclass in terms of congruent storylines, having everything seem unrelated and they actually come to at the point. It's wonderful. That diner scene is outstanding filmmaking. It's so good. Pulp Fiction is good. It's iconic. The dance scene, Uma Thurman would get her moment later, but this is pretty impressive. The stabbing through the heart. It's good. It's good. Pulp Fiction is wonderful. Number 2. All right. Number 1. We are going back to where it all began. Reservoir Dogs. You know it. Reservoir Dogs is outstanding. This scene, just like Inglourious Basterds, starts off perfect. The diner scene is one of the best written scenes, I think, of any film ever. The terms of the acting from Steve Buscemi, the writing, the camera work of the circling around the table. It's just captivating, and it's just words. There's not big action pieces going on. You'll get there later, but it's such a bold, inventive, daring, ballsy movie that it's a scene about a bunch of heist people that are robbing and doing some bad stuff, and you don't see any of it. And the entire thing is just the reactions of these characters and letting them come and deal with the effects and the heavy weight of what they've done. And what happens is just outstanding. You know the scene, Michael Madsen. It's Harvey Keitel. It goes down. Incredible. And Tarantino, what all these movies have is just an unbelievable grasp of using music and extra elements to make your film great. And when you have Tarantino, who's an incredible writer, and his films alone stand weight just along with his incredible writing and penmanship, but he gets these incredible actors, and then he has an amazing grasp of how to film your movie and how to make good action, but he just goes the extra length with the music and with his choices and with his handling of non-congruent storytelling and dealing with like storylines and timelines and playing with it. He's a genius. He's so good. So there we go. If you want to know what we thought about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I'm going to be back tomorrow to do a movie reviews and review to kind of sum up so you'll know what we thought. I'm going to see it tonight. I am pumped, and I will let you know what I think. All right, this has been the FlixList. I hope you agree. We'll see you next week.